What's good, Wizards fans? Is your host, the real Ed Oliver and Brandon Scott. Today we're going to recap both games from the weekend. Denny Avdia putting up double doubles. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
So I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use code all lowercase LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. And it's your host, the real Ed Oliver and Brandon Scott. We both were at the game against the Blazers. We both were there with our media credentials and interviewed the players and the coach, Chief Keef. So we got that experience. Brandon's already done it before. This is my first time, so I finally got to get some insight for you guys and get some questions and some answers from the players. So we'll get into that a little bit as well. But we're going to start out with the Blazers game, of course, the first game on Friday of the weekend on Friday. What were your thoughts about that game? What went wrong, and what were some good things that you saw from Denny and some of the other guys?
Oh man! First off, let me shout out my guy, man. Definitely good questions, man. Good questions, especially that Denny question, man. Look, I'm just trying to tell y'all, man. He's definitely made to do this, y'all. So, getting into the game, man, where did it go wrong? Two factors I kind of saw, man. Number one, Aiden. Vucevic, I felt like he did decent against Aiden, man, but Aiden is he's a tough matchup. He's a big who can spread the floor, and he did that, man. I mean, you look at that stat line for Aiden real quick. 34 points, 13 rebounds. I mean, shot the ball 25 times. So that, yeah, for a center, that's a little much. But 8 for 9 from the charity strike, 2 steals, 2 blocks. So Aiden, he had his way, man. And, like I said, Vucevic, that is definitely a hard cover for him. He's still on the defensive side of the ball. He's still kind of figuring out what he's doing defensively. Because, we kind of talked about it. And what I noticed about Vucevic defensively is his lateral, side-to-side defense needs work as far as his quickness, and they exploited that. They definitely targeted him, and so not surprised, and definitely a good strategy on part of the Trailblazers. But getting into the second factor, Banton, in 33 minutes out of the second unit, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. So Banton definitely shined off the bench for the Trailblazers. Now getting to the Wiz kids, Jordan Poole, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, shooting 8 for 20 from the field. 3 for 10 from 3, so 3-point shot, 3 for 10, but again, not a bad showing from Jordan Poole. 9 assists is definitely where I want him to be. His assist numbers continue to be impressive in my opinion, and not a bad game in my now. Did he kind of faltered at the end, but overall, I did like his performance, but to a certain degree, kind of wanted more from him, but not mad. Same thing with Corey Kispert, in 40 minutes, 12 points. 3 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 4 for 11 for the field, 1 for 7 3. So not his best shooting night, but I'm not too concerned right now. Johnny Davis, 20 minutes, 7 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, and I get it, but look, perfect from the field for 3 from 3. So you got to take the victories where you get them. So it's not a bad night. You definitely we all want a little more from Johnny, man, but it's definitely not a bad move with him starting at small forward. Turbo, man. Again, Turbo continues to impress offensively. 22 points, 12 rebounds, 7 for 12 from the field. 0 for 2 from 3, but not sweating it. 8 from 8 from the charity strike. 1 steal, 2 blocks, only 2 turnovers, and only 2 personal fouls. Denny, man. The future of this team looks bright. I get it. We're going to talk about the record in a minute. But, I mean, you can't deny that there is definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. Definitely what I love what I see from Denny as far as his breakout campaign offensively. And Tristan Vucevic. Again, look, is a tough, Aiden's a tough cover, man. He's a tough cover for people that have been in the league for a minute. So for a guy who came over here late, still finding, his way in the NBA as far as, defensively, offensively, he looks very comfortable defensively. He needs a little work, but I feel like, looking at the stat line, I mean, 17.7 rebounds, 7 for 16. So he definitely got his shots up. Because he was second on the team as far as attempts. 0 for 5 from 3. Yeah, the shot didn't drop, but he's not hesitant to take that shot. Kind of what I say with Denny this year. That's the big thing with the transition is the hesitancy to shoot that shot. He ain't hesitant. He only let that shot fly, and that's what you want to see from a young guy who, again, just came over from European League. So, and look at that second unit. Anthony Gill, 30 minutes, 8 points. He had his moments, but ultimately he shot not his best shooting night, but got a block, 2 steals. Eugene, 5.6 rebounds. But a lot of people weren't happy about. We were talking about before the show, man, that a lot of people weren't happy that Vucevic wasn't there, and they played Eugene. And I agree. The size mismatch, man. I'm just saying was the factor, but was a factor. If that makes sense to y'all. So Justin Champagnie, 3 points. Jared Butler, off night, but definitely happy that he got that contract, man. So I ain't mad, man. So definitely, he definitely earns an off night. And Patrick Baldwin Jr. only 6 minutes, but 2 points. So overall, I think that's the factor, man. I mean, looking at the breakdown, I mean, the Blazers ran the first half. We won the third, and we just couldn't get over that hump in the fourth quarter. And Aiden, Vucevic, he hard cover for him. So I think that's what it came down to. Aiden was just too versatile, and he had a big place in the Trailblazers' victory.
Definitely, yeah, they weren't able to stop him. He had the mid-range jumper going and just finishing the paint as well. Ended up with 34, 36 points. Then 13 rebounds. We just don't have a lot of bigs. I mean, Vucevic is still improving on his defense. He's got a long way to go for sure. We just don't have a lot of bigs anyway. We know this from the whole season. We just don't have much center depth at all. With Sean Holmes being out and Bagley being out, even with those guys, we still gave a lot of points in the paint for sure. But yeah, I mean, you brought up kind of having Eugene in there in those last couple possessions with a minute left, where we were down. I want to say by 3. I look at the play-by-play, but Jordan Poole had a couple open looks down the stretch there were wide open. He just didn't make them. Corey had an off night from 3 when we needed a 3. He wasn't able to make it. So that was a part of it too. But we had a lot of missed layups and a lot of missed dunks. Vucevic missed a dunk where Brian Keefe, Coach Keefe, had a long conversation with Vucevic, just kind of telling him to keep his head up. And then also Denny missed a wide open dunk. We had a couple wide open layups that were missed too. So that came down to it as well. We didn't shoot free throws well. We were 70%, 21 for 30. The Blazers didn't shoot free throws well either. But they definitely shot better from the 3-point line. We were awful from the 3-point line. The Wizards were 5 for 33. And like I said, Jordan Poole, there was open looks down the stretch. They just weren't able to connect. They were for sure. But yeah, both teams fought hard. But looking at it from a positive standpoint, Denny was getting downhill just like he did tonight with against the Raptors, rebounding the ball well with 12, 13 boards, another double-double. He's just been racking up double-doubles. Another broadcast saying that he was near 20 double-doubles on the season. So it's just awesome to see from him. Jordan Poole played pretty well for the most part. He was distributing the ball well as well. There were some times where he was dribbling the ball a little too much and he lost the ball or got ripped. That did happen once or twice, but he was distributing the ball. He had a couple of nice passes to Vucevic, getting other guys involved for sure. And then, like you said, Johnny Davis. I mean, this is a positive for him. Him having 7 points, making some open shots, getting to the basket. I mean, you just take any positive step that you can get from Johnny Davis for sure. So I'll take that too. That's just kind of where we are with him. Unfortunately, I know we're talking about him next with him going out with that injury tonight. I didn't even see the injury, but, hope he's okay for the next game. So we'll see. But yeah, those are the positives. Denny just playing really, really well. Vucevic showing flashes. Didn't shoot the 3 well. 17.7 boards. I thought he left some points on the board for sure. Missed dunks, wide open threes. Kind of could have finished a little bit stronger here and there. And then Corey didn't have a great game where we needed him. 1 for 7 from the 3. Jordan Poole 20 points, 9 assists. Almost had a double-double like he did tonight. Anthony Gill 8 points. Kind of struggled with Ayton's size. Got blocked a couple times trying to finish over him. And then Eugene showed energy, and then Jared Butler, not his best game, 0 for 5 from the 3-point line, but 6 points, got the contract. So there were some positives from it. Definitely a winnable game, but, looking at the standings for the lottery, they needed to lose these games. I think it was in their best interest to lose both games tonight, as now, since they lost both games, at worst, looking at the lottery stats and whatnot and odds, the worst pick that they can get now is the 6th pick of the draft, which is what really matters this year, is getting the best pick in the draft, as we saw in the Final Four. There were a couple guys from this weekend that looked pretty good. Not a lot in the top 6, but Stephon Castle or Stephen Castle, or I think it's Stephon Castle.
Yeah.
He played pretty well. He impressed me. So if we end up with the 3rd pick or something like that, then I definitely would take a look at him there for sure.
Oh, I'm definitely intrigued in Stephon Castle, man. I mean, he's balling, man. I mean, he's athletic, man. So we find ourselves in a good spot. I mean, it's not really a bad spot. It kind of goes back to the Commanders, right? I mean, at 2, you have all the picks in the world for quarterback, and looking at the Wizards, I mean, there's a lot of options. And it's if you look at the top 3, I mean, if you look at Stephon Castle, kind of changes the mood of the draft, because the big MO of the draft is a big developmental draft. But Stephon Castle, man, looks like he's a guy who, probably needs a year of development, man. But he's very intriguing. So with the Trailblazers loss, man, it's just to me, the missed dunks, it happens with Vuk. Denny, man, come on, Denny, you gotta make those, man. You're a vet in the game now, man. You gotta make those. But Vuk is just he's impressed me offensively. Yeah, he does need work defensively, especially side to side lateral movement, man. That they were killing him on that. But you definitely see the potential. And definitely if you look next year, we only have Rashawn Holmes and Marvin Bagley next year, only for next year. So develop him. And I called him, the last video when we had new breaks on, I said it. Jonas Valanciunas, man. If we can get him right defensively, that's who he reminds me of. A big who can defend the paint and he can spread the floor. So we just need to add the D to that. So I'm very intrigued with Vucevic. He's definitely impressed me since coming over from Europe, man. So I think we definitely hit on the 2nd round pick for the first time in a while. So
and I'm looking at the play-by-play now. We were down by 3 with 38 seconds to go. Jordan Poole missed a 3-point pull-up shot.
Yeah.
And also we had another opportunity where Jordan Poole missed a 3-pointer with 1 minute and 15 seconds left, and then Scoot had an and one. They went up 107 to 102, and then basically that's all she wrote. Actually, they went up 108 to 102.
Yeah,
and that was it after that. But 2nd round picks. Yeah, we can definitely go on and on and on about that. How Vucevic finally got us. He's finally a good 2nd round pick for the Wizards. But we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to talk about prize picks real quick and then recap the 2nd game. But before we do that, today's episode was brought to you by PrizePicks. March is over, but the biggest moments in college basketball tip off the month of April. Be a part of the action on PrizePicks for both men's and women's college basketball. PrizePicks, if you don't know what it is, it's America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the playoff action, win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries today on PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Keep in mind that the NBA playoffs begin April 20th and the play-in round begins April 16th, 17th, and 19th. So PrizePicks should be having a lot of props up for that. Hit a couple of things on PrizePicks tonight with Corey Kispert hitting 2.5 threes. Denny going over on points. So there was a couple easy stuff that was on there for sure that I took advantage of on PrizePicks. Make sure you guys check out and download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Make sure you guys download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Also, make sure you guys check out the Locked On Sports 24/7 stream. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting. Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, so the Raptors game, what were your thoughts on that, and what were some positive things that you saw, and what were wrong?
Nice. I'm going to say, they just dug a hole. I mean, they try to make up, but I mean, if you look at that first quarter, they scored 42 points to our 17. We try to recoup with 33 points to their 21 in the second quarter, but it just the hole is just too big, man. Now, I mean, some positives. I'll say this: looking at the stat line as far as team-wise, 29 fast break points is one factor I like. Pushing the pace. I think they're a better team when they push the pace because they catch a lot of teams off balance, man. And there's a lot of opportunities for Jordan Poole and a lot of these guys to find open shooters. And so I think that's the best recipe for this team going forward, man. Definitely had to push the pace. We're not a team that needs to slow down and set up like Spencer did it with days, man. Like, we're definitely a better team pushing the pace, man. So that's one positive that I saw. But yeah, I think, overall it was somewhat close. I mean, if you look at it, field goal percentage, they, 51 to 47%. 3-point, we actually shot better than they did. Rebounds, the only out rebounds by 7. We were even on offensive rebounds. Assists only out, only 4 or 33 to our 29. So, I mean, it was a very close game, but I think that's the biggest thing, man. Sometimes we're guilty for, getting ourselves into a hole, and then we play catch up. And, this team, the Raptors, look, I'll tell you what, man, from, just from an NBA fans perspective, Emmanuel Quickly, man, we talked about him before when he was with the Knicks about maybe being a possible candidate for trade coming to DC. And he's finally been given the opportunity to be that point guard, man. And tonight, he looked really, really good, man. So he was definitely a problem to a certain degree for Jordan Poole. But I'm not going to say that, bouncing the ball at the foot was definitely a reason we lost, man. But it definitely, man, brings you back a little bit to last year. I ain't going to name drop nobody, man. But, the ball at the foot. But I think the biggest thing for these last 2 games, and, I get it, we really do need to lose these games. And I hate to really say that, but we do as far as, draft position. But a lot of people mentioned it, and I kind of saw, Brian Keefe, the timeouts, trying to win, and I always talk about culture, man. I say it all the time. I'm pretty sure people are tired of hearing about it, but, culture is important, man. It really is when you're early in a rebuild because, it's very, very important. And, he's solidifying that. And like I said, I get it. We definitely going to have to do our due diligence and go out there and interview, but he continues to impress me as far as, trying to win, building that culture, being that player's coach who holds his guys accountable. It's just, I definitely think that, you need to put some steam behind him, definitely be in consideration, maybe being, head coach going forward to a certain degree. Now, obviously you want to do your due diligence, but again, that was another positive I saw, definitely those, right timeouts at the right time, because that was another thing with Wes Unseld Jr. And I don't want to harp on Wes, man, but, the timeouts and, the lack of adjustments were 2 things that, in my opinion, he lacked, and you see that in Brian Keefe. And these 2 games kind of highlight that to a certain degree. But yeah, I mean, with the Raps, man, we got into a hole. And like I said, they try to make it up. They did a good job making up, but it was just too much for this team, in my opinion. So
yeah, it was, and they weren't able to stop Emmanuel Quickly to get to the basket. And of course, Kelly Olynyk is the Wizards. He haunts the Wizards forever, unfortunately. I mean, he had a good game. Barrett get to the basket, Gary Trent Jr. But like you said, you just can't dig a hole that big. I mean, I want to see how much they were down by to start the game off. It was a ridiculous amount. They started the game off with a lot of turnovers, and then the Raptors were playing zone. They struggled with the zone. Yeah. A lot of turnovers, giving up a bunch of threes to Grady Dick and Gary Trent and other guys. Kelly Olynyk hit 2 threes in the first half. So, I mean, you just can't start off like that and expect to win a game. Even though they did rally back, they were down by at least 8 or 10 points for the majority of the game. Let me look at the largest lead here real quick because I know they started off down really, really bad. They were down by 29 to start the game off. You just can't do that. You can't do that and expect to win. And the Raptors shot 35% from the 3, which is okay. They only made 11 threes. We made about 16. We made 16 threes, but it was just that first half where they just started off hot. We couldn't stop penetration into the basket. We couldn't stop quickly getting to the basket. RJ Barrett, numerous guys on the Raptors. As we gave up 66 points in the paint, we had 50 to their 66. Ended up with 15 turnovers. But, yeah, I mean, once again, just the positives is Denny, man. He really has ascended, and I told him about his finishing. I asked him a question about how he's improved his finishing. And you just see him looking for contact, getting to the basket, looking for contact, finishing through contact, dunking the ball, finishing, rebounding the ball at a high clip, getting those offensive boards, putting it back, and knocking down threes. Doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but he's been knocking them down when he gets the opportunity. 2 for 6 from the 3-point line, getting to the free throw line, capitalize on his free throw opportunities. He went 8 for 12. I want to see him go for 10. We don't want to see him go 12 for 12, but at least 10 for 12 instead of 8 for 12. So getting to the free throw line, capitalizing on those opportunities, getting to the basket, just being more aggressive and knowing that, at times he can be the best player on the court at times, and just the confidence going up, keeping his head up. Just a lot of things that he worked on throughout the season, which is just awesome to see just a Wizards player develop. So it was great to see him put up 30 points. And it's starting to become a normal thing for him. It's not like, oh, man, we're just so excited to see him score 20, 25. Like, this is like becoming a normal thing for him to go out there, put up 32 points, 10 boards, And that's what we want to see from him. We want to see this be not every night he's going to put up 30, of course, but we want to see him go out there and get double doubles. Like, this is something that he can consistently do for sure. So as far as Jordan Poole, 29 points, 10 assists. I thought he played well for the most part. Just a couple turnovers to start the game off. But he played well. Corey Kispert had a way better game, much better game, because he didn't play like himself the other night on Friday night. I know he's better than that. So he certainly had a bounce back game. Pat Baldwin is the story of the night too, man. Yes. Pat Baldwin is a big story of the night because we've been begging for him to do something other than just knock down threes. And, he had 3 threes, made 5 shots, 3 out of 5 shots, but rebounding is what he did. 11 boards. He had 11 boards. Like, you're 6'10". You can do more than just be a standstill spot-up shooter. Like, he's way more talented than that, in my opinion. And I feel like he can do more. So he had a double-double the other night. Jared Butler with 7 points. Anthony Gill with the DNP. He was injured. He was out. Rashawn Holmes, injury out. Just looking at the stats. Vucevic, 11 points, 9 boards. Thought he played well, but of course, defensively, he just has a long way to go.
Yeah.
And Corey, 21. Johnny Davis, 0. I did not see the injury. Only played 6 minutes. I'm not sure if you saw the injury. But
no, I didn't catch it either, man.
Yeah, I didn't see the injury. And then Eugene always has energy. He was going back and forth with Kelly Olynyk. They had a double technical, so I love the effort from him. But at the end of the day, the defense just wasn't good enough. Giving up 130 points, you can't do that. But once again, like I said, they clinched the top 6 pick, and it also locks in a 14% chance at the first pick of the draft. So mission accomplished tonight. You see Denny develop, Jordan Poole look good at the point guard role, and then also Corey Kispert play better, and then Jordan Poole ended up with how many assists? He had 12 assists, so 29 points and 12 assists.
Oh, you hit the nail on the head, E. I mean, this was a really good showing, man. I mean, back to Denny, 32 points, 10 rebounds. I mean, 11 for 19 from the field. 8 for 11 from charity strike. I get it. You need to hit those, but I'm not even going to harp on it because, like you said, it's getting to the point where you see the consistency where it's not like he scores 20, 25. It's like, oh, okay. Now it's like you expect him to score 20, 25. And that's what I said. My expectation next year is to see consistent, him to be that every night because I think he can take that step forward, man, in my humble opinion, man. Jordan Poole getting 12 assists, 29 points, 10 for 23 from the field, 2 steals. So, he's distributing the ball. That's what you want to see if, the hope is going forward that he's that point guard. And even if he's exhibiting his talents to, build value, he's doing that, in my opinion. Another thing you mentioned, Kispert, good bounce back. Just said, he's definitely better than that. He's definitely proven that he can be that 3-level scorer. Defense, we need to work on a little bit in offseason, man, but from an offense standpoint, he's, in my opinion, he's definitely there as a 3-level scorer. And you definitely got to give a shout out to Patrick Baldwin Jr., man. 16 points, definitely his best showing, in my opinion, but 11 rebounds with his size, you definitely got to go in there and get boards, and he did that. So he's definitely building on the other area of his game. So, yeah, we dug a hole, man, but there was definitely bright spots in this game. So, we're going to get into comments, but before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. Because LinkedIn isn't just another job board, right? I actually use LinkedIn several times. I've used a lot of the job sites. Get out the military in 2011, man. Trying to find my way. And then LinkedIn to me was definitely the most user friendly. Got a lot more callbacks than the other sites, so I definitely recommend LinkedIn, man. Because I was able to get a state job, I was able to, to get a contracted job, so I was able to get decent jobs off of LinkedIn. So I'm definitely, I could definitely recommend it for you guys. But again, LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals that you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn Jobs does all of that while making the process easy and intuitive. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. And with 2.5 million small businesses, they all use LinkedIn for hiring. So all you got to do is to post your job for free is go to linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. Again, that's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, let's get into some comments.
Yes, sir. All right. But yeah, I'll talk about my experience too at the game. You can talk about yours too. I know you asked a good question, but yeah, it was a great experience. The only negative thing I'll say is that my voucher didn't work. We get a food voucher at the game. They give us like a $10 voucher. I think it's good for like $30, something like that. So I get up to the food stand or whatever, and I probably shouldn't have bought food from the stadium anyway. That was my first mistake. And they take 20 minutes to bring out some fries. And then they said the QR code was supposed to pop up for the voucher. It didn't even work. And I ended up paying full price. But it is what it is. I had a great time. All that aside, I do see one comment here talking about Denny. I think it's from Isra Teague here. I did ask Denny about the flagrant foul one that LeBron did on Denny Avdia. Asked him about his finishing as well. And Denny gave a great answer. You know, he just basically, he said, I asked him, you know, did he think it was a basketball play? And he asked me if I thought it was an intentional play. And yeah, shout out to Isra Teague. He said it was Ed. I saw the interview when he introduced himself. I'll probably post it on YouTube, on our channel, and my own YouTube channel as well. Offer Towel, thank you. He says, didn't know it was Ed. Good question to answer. But just talking about the LeBron elbow, basically, Denny said that he wasn't happy that LeBron didn't check on him. You know, I agree with him. I do think he should have checked him, just from a basketball standpoint, just from a competitive standpoint. Even when Metta World Peace elbowed James Harden, and that was clearly on purpose. Even Metta World Peace turned around and even he was funny, acting like he didn't do it on purpose. He turned around and checked on James Harden. So I get where Denny was coming from on that. And Denny had to leave the game with a migraine. So it was definitely a play where I thought it wasn't a basketball play, and that's why LeBron got called for a flagrant. And I even think it was to the point where he may have they should have thought about tossing him, but of course they weren't going to do that because, you know, we know how DC is. Majority of the stadium was Lakers fans, and a lot of people paid their money to go see LeBron James, and we know how that works. But I appreciate Denny for giving me a good answer. He didn't have to be as honest as he was, so I appreciate it for him for that. And I definitely gained a lot of respect for him for giving me an honest answer like that.
Oh, absolutely, man. You know, again, good question, good answer, man. You know, going back to experience, I think when you're waiting for your fries, man, what really shocked me is I saw two guys walking in pimp suits. So I don't know if that was for the 2 Chainz concert or what was going on, man. But looking back at Denny and the, I mean, he was very honest, and I agree, man. You know, you catch somebody with an elbow, even if it wasn't intentional, you see if the guy's all right, man. I mean, you know, you can't mess around with concussions, man. I've had experience with concussions just from the military, you know, and playing football, and you know, it's a real issue, man. You know, you don't hear too much in basketball. It's more of a football issue, but it's a real thing, man. You know, and you know, I think that was kind of classist, in my opinion. You know, you should at least, you know, saw he's all right. And you know what? I'm not one of these people that say, oh, you know, he's a superstar, was not kicking him out. Nah, man. You know, I don't, you know, you kick that guy out because the fact that to me, the fact that he didn't even check on him, it was intentional. You know, if we're playing pickup and I catch you in the elbow, I'm gonna go over and say, "Oh, my bad, man. You know, you're right." You know, it was just I thought it was classless in my opinion. But so yeah, very honest answer, but I appreciate that. I believe.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you had a couple great questions to Coach Keefe and Jared Butler. We talked to Jared Butler. He just got his new contract, so he was super excited. He had one interesting answer where he said he just wants to be like a cockroach. He just wants to stay in the gym, and you know we gotta post this to YouTube because I should have wrote down. We both recorded, but I gotta remember exactly what he said because he said something like he wanted to be. Basically, he said he wanted to be a gym rat. I think gym rat was a better way of saying it instead of saying a cockroach. But we're both excited for him. I asked him, you know, out of all the things he's done in his basketball career, you know, he's won a championship at Baylor. He got drafted. Where did he rank this accomplishment among all his accomplishments in the game of basketball? He said top 3. So, you know, he gave an honest answer. He was excited. He was smiling throughout the interview. So I had a good experience interviewing Jared Butler as well.
Yeah, man, classy dude. I like him, man. You know that. The answer kind of caught a lot of people by surprise. But because it was funny, man. Because I think he said I want to be a cockroach when they drop the bomb, man. I want to be still survive, still And so yeah, I like Jared Butler, man. He's definitely a funny dude, man. And I mean, contract is much deserved, man. Because kind of in the mold of Jordan Goodwin, man. He came from the go. And he came up here, NBA ready, providing good minutes. And I think that really goes back to the Capital City Go-Go. They're getting these guys ready. So when it's their time, they're ready to roll. And you keep seeing a lot of good development with the Capital City Go-Go, man. So, and we continue to stockpile a lot of young talent down there, man. So I think that's another really good thing to look at as far as the future and how this organization is being run. You see a lot of good young talent being collected. And I like that because, you got a couple guys in RJ Hampton and Diallo that aren't even playing. That shows you how much depth we had as far as young talent, man. So yeah, definitely shout out to Jared Butler with that answer. Let's see. Oh, Shook Biz. I think we did change some minds. Shook Biz once said Denny has turned me around as a fan. I mean, and there's another comment that goes to Denny, and I'm gonna bring it up real quick. And somebody said, I'm trying to find it, but he says, hate him or love him, you got to admit that Denny is bringing. And I agree. Look, hate him or love him. Whether you're a fan or not of Denny Avdia, I think that a lot of people who weren't are because he's shown that he's breaking out offensively. He came in the league, he's definitely, the defense was there. He just needed to develop his offensive game, and he's doing that. And my challenge now for him next year is bridge it together, be that complete player because sky's the limit for him, man. If you look at the prospects we have, like I said, Kispert 3-level scorer. His defense, we definitely need to work on that. But, if you add that with Bilal and his intangibles as far as, he's still growing his defensive prowess, I mean, we do have a nice young foundation. You add Jordan Poole and even it's just there is definitely light in tunnel. I'm very intrigued about the future in DC, man. I get it. We set the record, but there's definitely better times ahead, man. If you look at Rome, for you history buffs, man, Rome was founded by two brothers. And they built it up into probably the world's biggest empire, man. So you got to start small, man. You got to start small. You got to struggle in the beginning. But I think that, with this front office, we're going to get there. So definitely keep the faith, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Denny, I feel like he's probably not going to get a vote for most improved, but I think he should get in there. I think he deserves at least one vote. I mean, but you look at other guys like Tyrese Maxey, Kobe White, Jalen Williams, Jonathan Kuminga. Those are the guys that are in the running. But you look at his numbers, he's just improved a lot. And you look at even his mentality, just going to the basket, finish through contact, better shooting free throws, better shooting from the three, better. Everything, his all-around game, ball handling, everything you look at has improved tremendously, and he's still been a solid defender. So I have nothing but good things to say about Denny. 32 points, another double-double, over 20 points against the Blazers, another double-double. He's just been a jack of all trades, so it's just good to see him come where he's come from because he really did struggle to make layups, and now he's making them through contact and ones and getting to the free throw line. So I'm just happy for him overall.
Absolutely, the sky is the limit for these young guys, man. I'm trying to tell you. Let's see. Oh, shoot, biz. See, he says if Ed forgives JD, no shots for. I appreciate it, man, because JD been having me lit, man. And, I gotta, so definitely apologize, E. But that was a funny one. Let's see. Area 11_T said maybe keep Poole for next year, but I'm sold on Castle being the point guard here. He improved his shot, but his athleticism, defense, and scoring upside can make him a star. I didn't watch too much UConn because my college team's George Mason, man, so it's usually Atlantic 10, but. Watch him in the tournament. Yeah, he's looking good. I mean, he's a guy that I would definitely look at. I know we've heard Sarr, Rasal Shea, there's a lot of prospects, but looking at point guard, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Jordan Poole, he is improving, man. And if you look at the mental side of it, he's shown that he can take criticism and still work his tail off. So, he's proven a lot, and his value, I mean, he's building value. Hate it, love, he's building value. So, maybe you flip him, get value. Maybe he can be the long-term guy. But if indeed he's not, and there's a lot of up in the air. We don't know what the vision is going forward for the front office with Jordan Poole. If he's not there in their vision going forward, Stephon Castle is a guy that you definitely look at in this draft, man, because he can ball. I'm trying to tell you, and he's going to lead UConn to a national championship, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I like him. He has a 100. He's always moving 110%. It's just so much energy, so much athleticism. He's a guy that gets offensive boards because he has that quick bounce. The shot needs improvement, but last night he hit 3 threes. They just kept leaving him open. Their coach used him really well. They used him in a pick and roll situation. He got an alley oop off cutting a backdoor cut alley oop. Then he had a nice finish off of a pick and roll. He can put the ball on the floor. He's kind of like a point guard / combo guard, shooting guard, which is basically what every guard is nowadays in this generation of basketball. But he has that physicality too, just that toughness. And we need our identity right now. I do think we need to improve on toughness and just having that chip on our shoulder and physicality. I do think that's one thing we need to improve as we gain an identity. And I think he brings that, and he's a solid defender as well. He's not scared to pick up full court too. So I would like him a lot. The only thing is just the shot needs improvement, but we'll see if this staff is better than last regime, the last regime where they kind of messed around with Johnny, not kind of, they messed around with Johnny Davis' shot. So that's the only thing with Stephon Castle. But everything else, I really, really like his energy, the way he plays. I love the way he plays.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, man, John Wall, his shot needed him, so hey, he reminds me a little of John, man. I mean, just because he at 100%, he's always active, man. He's always on the go. And I like that in the point guard, man. I like that in the player, period. Your comment with dogs. Vuk's efficient. He definitely impressed me because, Olenek pushed him. He pushed him back. I like seeing that dog, man, especially Olenek, because I ain't forgiving Olenek for the little fight he did against Kelly Oubre. You remember that? So, yeah, man. So I like the dog in him, man. I like those type of plays, man. Definitely we need more dogs here. And seeing that from Vuk, man, I love it. I love what I saw, man. So, yeah.
Yeah, but last comment of the night, and then we'll get to other comments tomorrow night for sure. So tomorrow night's the college basketball championship too, so we'll be talking about that tomorrow night too as well, just players to look at. But Invalid says, and there's another comment, somebody said stop bashing Poole, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. He's on the right path. Mid-season he was lost, but this comment, where did it go? I lost him. Invalid basically talks about the pull-up three in transition where Jordan Poole did a good job getting a steal, but I'm just like, I know in today's NBA, that's what people do. Steph Curry started this, and it was not just him, but he had a wide open pull up. It was a 2-on-1. He decided to pull up for a three, and he missed it badly too. It wasn't even like it was a close miss; it was a bad miss. Yeah. So that was frustrating just seeing that, and that's just kind of what you're going to get from Jordan Poole. You're going to get some no, don't take that kind of shot, and sometimes he makes them, but it's like when he's not making them, and he had a good shooting night tonight with 29 points, but I just thought at that point, yeah, come on, man, you got to take that to the basket. There's just no way you can just pull up for three on a 2-on-1 fast break and basically nearly airball the three.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. It's the state of the game now. It's a perimeter-driven league. Steph Curry, man, and his greatness, he's made it into a three-point shooting league. And, hate it or love it. I'm not saying I hate it, but it's just I feel like the game, especially as far as American basketball, man, is really losing its identity as far as the fundamentals of basketball, man. So I think we need to get back to that, in my humble opinion, man, because, that's why, people are saying, look, a lot of these players from overseas, they're coming. And the reason for that is because the fundamentals, we're losing at the AAU level, man. And we got to get back to that. So that's the state of the game, man. 3-point shot, he's got to work on the transition three, man, because, they drive me crazy. They really do. So he's got to work on that. He's got to utilize the shot clock. He really does. But you know what, Jordan Poole, and I'm going to make it short because, we get a little late, but he's still impressed. He's taking L's, man. He's been booed by his own fan base. Every sports media site in this country came after that dude. Every video on YouTube was on the list of the most overrated players or the players that, the biggest disappointments. He took those L's and he worked his tail off, and he's going out there and he's playing quality basketball at a high level, man. So, he's impressed me with his character. We were big on him about an immaturity, man, but he's acting like a grown man. He's working his tail off, and he's working. He's blocking out all the outside noise. So I got nothing but love for Jordan Poole, man. I like the work ethic. I really do. So hopefully we'll see if he builds value, cool. If he's here long term, cool. But he's impressed me the second half of the season.
Yes, sir. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Shigsby says at most improved 75% call and almost 0. Funny guy for sure. So we're gonna get some comments tomorrow that we missed. and get to that. So we just want to thank you guys for listening, making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you guys get podcasts. Make sure you guys subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. Hail to the Wizards. Peace.